let's talk about the biggest liar in MMA media, Chael Sonnen. I don't understand why Chael Sonnen does this. Nobody trusts him, people just find him as entertainer, and I find him entertaining, but nobody takes him seriously because he lies all the time. So Chael Sonnen was in Andrew Solch's podcast where he said that he made $8.8 million against Anderson Silva in a rematch. That's more money that Anderson Silva has made in his UFC career. Let's take a listen.
How much did you make fighting?
The most I ever made was 8.8 in one night.
Oh, what?
I made 8.8 million the second time I fought Anderson.
Wow.
And I know.
Talking shit
I just,
pays.
$8.8 million. Dude, there's no champions right now that makes that much money. This is crazy. Let's look at Chael Sonnen's contract. Chael Sonnen had 50-50 contract when he fought against Anderson Silva for the second time. Just look at this. Oh my god. Yeah, Chael Sonnen was operating on a contract that pays him $50,000 to show and another $50,000 if he wins. Meanwhile, Silva gets a flat salary, $200,000. Anderson Silva was a very smart individual. Very, very smart. So Chael Sonnen made $50,000 in his fight against Anderson Silva. Then imagine you're in the biggest fight in your career and you make $50,000. Now, at that time, the fighters could wear sponsors. But how much you get in sponsors? Especially at that time, UFC 148. In 2012, you didn't make that much money. You made like a couple $100,000. Like maybe 200, I would say 200 to 300k. At that time, Anderson Silva was the biggest star in UFC and he had the biggest sponsor deal. And that was with Burger King. And he made $250,000 at UFC 148. That was the biggest sponsor pay in UFC at that time. $250,000. So imagine how much Chael Sonnen made. He probably made 100k. Plus the back end money. So Josh Nash said that UFC reported that Chael Sonnen got additional $1 million at UFC 148. So Chael Sonnen got $50,000. That was his flat pay, or his contracted pay. Then he got the non-contracted additional $1 million. Plus he got the sponsor. So he made about $1.1 million. If we assume that the sponsors are 100k, it might be even less than that. If Anderson Silva made 250,000 of sponsors, which was the biggest sponsor deal at that time, Chael Sonnen probably got million times less. So it's probably around 50k if I'm being generous. But let's just say that he made 100k of sponsors. It would be $1,150,000. He didn't make $8.8 million. Anderson Silva didn't make $8.8 million. Here is Anderson Silva's career earning. Overall career earning $8.7 million. His whole career. Now this is not included his sponsor pay and stuff like that. But just look at his career earning. Look at all the fights that he had. All the fights in UFC. This guy is a fucking legend. Many championship fights. Overall total career earning $8.7 million. Probably made around $20 million in his whole career. Let's make it double. Let's say that he made double. So 70 million. Let's just say that he made $70 million. Let's even say that he made $20 million. Chael Sonnen wasn't a champion. So he doesn't even get pay-per-view points. People don't understand how bad UFC pay is. It's absolutely disgusting. Chael Sonnen deserves $8.8 million. Maybe that's what he meant. He deserved $8.8 million. I agree. But he didn't get that.
I'm coming for the fucking money, you piece of shit.
That's how UFC works, baby. 50-50 contract in your biggest fight in your fucking career. And then you get that extra $1 million. Hey, keep quiet. Here's a $1 million for you to keep quiet and keep satisfied and keep sucking UFC dick every chance you get, because till this day Chael Sonnen hopes that he gets another check from the UFC. That's why he keeps lying over and over and over again. But I'm gonna show you guys another great example. You guys know Jake Paul. Jake Paul fought Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva said that Jake Paul fight is his biggest money fight in his whole career. And he said this in his interview. Let's take a listen.
And when I start fighting UFC, I make good contract. In every single fight, every single moment, I change my contract, I change everything. And I make good money. I don't have crazy life, you know, and that's I save my money, and I make a lot of money in UFC. Of course, I can't say that my last fight in Mexico, I make more money than my 2 last fights in UFC.
You guys heard it. Anderson Silva made more money against Chavez Jr. than his last 2 fights in UFC combined.
That's fucking illegal.
Let's look at how much Anderson Silva made against Chavez. So according to multiple reports, Silva was guaranteed to make anywhere from 500,000 and 1 million. Plus pay-per-view revenue. He got also 100k extra because Chavez missed the weight. Let's say he made $1 million. Plus that 100k extra because Chavez missed the weight, so that's $1.1 million plus sponsors, so I would say he made around 2 million. Now let's look at how much Anderson Silva made against Jake Paul, which was his biggest money fight in his career. So the guarantee purse for Anderson Silva was 500k plus 35% shared pay-per-view. The pay-per-view sold 200k to 300k. So let's say, because they are not giving us the real number, they are saying that it sold 200 to 300k pay-per-views. So let's take the middle. Let's say that it sold 250,000 pay-per-views. And the pay-per-view cost was $59.99, so $60. So let's start calculating. Give me a minute here. So 250,000 pay-per-views sold, and $60 was the pay-per-view cost. That's $15 million. That's how much the pay-per-view revenue was overall. Now the promoter gets 45% of that. So let's calculate 45% out of 50 million. That's 6,750,000. Now Anderson Silva gets 35% of that. That's $2.3 million plus 500k. That will be $2.8 million plus sponsors. So let's say that he made like 500k to 1 million in sponsors. So the overall pay would be around $3.5 million to $4 million. And that is his highest career earning ever in his fighting history. But some way, somehow, Chael Sonnen managed to pull $8.8 million in 2012 against the biggest star in UFC who didn't even make close to that. Maybe I should start using Chael Sonnen tactic. I think this tactic is called fake it till you make it. So I'm gonna say from now on, I have made $8.8 million of YouTube. I wanna everybody say that in the comment section. Go to social media and say that MMA T-Talk has made $8.8 million of YouTube. Let's start spreading that rumor. Anyway, thanks for listening to this video. Click the subscribe button as always. Like this video if you like. Stay safe, stay healthy. Goodbye.